Hey, what's up guys? Thomas Apodaca here, kettlebellstringclub.com, here with another demo video for you. Today I'll be covering the squat. So it'll be a bodyweight squat, a goblet squat, rack squat, all things on a squat. So what you want to keep in mind when you're doing a squat, proper squat, is you want your knees, ankles, hips lined up. You don't want to have a knee coming inward, buckling in, or being too far outward on your squat. So you want to make sure that when you're going into that squat position, your feet are tracked outward. We're not going straight on, we're going outward, toes. It opens up your hips and it gives you some space to work with. So knees are coming outward, you come down, and when you're squatting, you want to make sure and remember that you're pulling yourself downward. You're pulling down, you're not dropping down. So it's a controlled descent down into that squat position, knee over the ankle. You should be able to sit here comfortably. That's the squat position here. And then as you come up, abs engaged, and you power it up, okay? So what I don't want to see is just fast squatting, okay? We don't need to do repetition squats. So on my program, my training programs, my workouts, I tell you to do a bodyweight squat. I want the tempo to look like this, similar to this. So you're coming down and you're coming up. You're controlling it down and up. So knees out, chest always up. I don't want your chest caving in forward. If your chest is coming down, and your chest has to come down for you to travel more, and you stop before that happens. So, for example, you're coming down and your chest has to come in. I want you to stop before that happens. So even if it's up to here, we're going to work with what you have as you increase your flexibility and mobility. So ideally, you want to be chest up, be able to come down to that squat and power it up. Okay, that's the bodyweight squat. So then, when I have you do a goblet squat, so single bell squat. You have your bell. What you're doing is high pulling, catching that bell, using that bell, kind of a counterbalance weight, and you're squatting down. So here it looks like this. High pull, catch it, hold it by the horns, double rack position, elbows by your sides. Again, pulling yourself down, adjusting your feet as needed, and you pull down. Okay, ideally you want to be elbows in between your knees here. So this looks like, what does this look like? A praying goblet squat. So when I have you warming up, we do praying goblet squats. This is what this looks like. And then before you come up, aerate. Okay, so if you can only travel to here without your chest caving forward, that's what I want you to do. Work on increasing that mobility, opening up those hips, doing the stretches that I show you to increase that flexibility and mobility safely. You don't want to force yourself into a deep squat when you're not ready for that. Okay, it's not a safe way to perform your exercise. So that's the goblet squat. Okay, high pull, catch it, pull yourself down, power it up. So breathing should look like this. Okay, always power breathe, abs engaged. Okay, so next move is going to be a double rack squat. Okay, so in the rack position, so it's going to be a single rack. Double rack is down the road, but what I'm going to cover today is a single rack position. So I have this in several of my workouts, training sessions. So what you want to do, get into that good solid rack position first, and then you squat. So high pull, catch it, or floor clean it up. Not high pull, catch it, clean it. So floor clean or cheek clean. Get into that rack position. Nice vertical forearm. Good solid rack position. Plant your feet. And again, same thing as any squat position. You're pulling down. You power it up. Okay, pull down. If you have a rack squat with one bell, this hand is out here, or you can have it here. Whatever works for you to counter that weight. out here to balance that out. Okay, so key points here, good solid rack position, same thing, pulling down and up. Okay, all right, so that's the rack squat, single rack squat. So I think about that. So those are the squats that we primarily covered. The double rack squat, I'll cover that specifically on its own. It's more advanced movement. These are the foundation moves that we're going to be working with. Bodyweight squat, goblet squat, single arm bell squat. Okay, so practice that, try that, put these cues into practice, and you know, train well, and remember that you want to learn that proper technique first. Proper quality, high quality technique before we add more load, and before we try to squat low. Okay, you can't squat as low as I can. I've been working on getting low, being able to squat that low, but it took some time. So it's going to take some time for you to be able to do that. So just keep that in mind. Just work on it, do what you can do right now in a safe manner. So, a couple of things I want you to avoid when you're doing your squat. So what I don't want is toes tracked forward. I don't want this type of squatting. Okay, that type of squatting has its place. It's a bodybuilding style squat. Narrow feet. We're trying to focus quadricep emphasis. This is generally the squat that I tell you. It's an overall squat, opening up the hips, wide feet. It's what we teach, or what I teach in my Kettlebell Strength Club program. So, no narrow feet. I don't want your toes pointed straight ahead. And if they're wide, I want those toes pointed outward. I want those knees to be able to flare outward, come outward. Okay. And what I don't want is squatting down and tilting forward. I want that chest upward. So if you're coming down like this, you're not hinging. This isn't a hinge. So many of the kettlebell movements are hinge as a hinge movement. The swing, the clean, all that stuff, snatch. But the squat is different. So we're not hinging. Okay, don't throw the hinge in there. We're squatting. So knees bent. Okay, so your shin here is going to be a little bit more less vertical to the ground, as opposed to a hinge, to where that movement's coming from your hips mostly. So that's what you want to keep in mind. And speed, just control. I can't emphasize this more enough. I don't want you to be doing just rapid squats and just trying to get them in. I want control. I want you pulling yourself down, glutes engaged, quads engaged. I want you to pull yourself down and power it up. Okay, so control. A good 3 to 1 second tempo. 3 seconds down, power it up. Always in control, always high quality, always proper technique, never speeding it up just to get those sets in. So always keep that in mind. You're going to stay injury free, you're going to get a lot more out of the exercise itself, the squat, more leg engagement, ab glute engagement than you would if you were just doing fast rep squats. Okay, there's a place for that, it's not here. Okay, just keep that in mind. So here's the squat, try it out. Replay this video, practice these things, apply it to when you're following my training videos and at workouts. And happy training, train hard, expect success, go get 'em.